Hello guys, welcome to another video. First of all, and I said that this story doesn't belong to me, so if you need the full story for yourself, you can go down in the description to find the link to the original post and read the full story for yourself. That being said, let's get into the video. What if Minato had adopted Obito or a better route? Chapter 46 and part 46. The whole room was completely silent. You could have heard a pin drop. It was so quiet. Neji eyed Hinata cruelly for across the balcony, and you could see Hinata wasn't expecting this at all. She had no desire to fight her cousin, but it didn't look like she was going to be given the chance. Hinata's goal was to save Neji and her entire clan from the caged bird seal, and if she had to fight Neji to do it, she would. Naruto leaned in and whispered in her ears, "You can do this, Hinata-chan. Show Neji just how strong you have gotten." Hinata gave him a small kiss on the cheek and turned to her sensei. "Any advice?" Joraiya already had a plan forming in his head. He's already assumed he's going to win, so he wouldn't see you as a threat. Come out swinging, and you will knock him strict on his ass. Shut down as many of his chakra points as you can in your first assault, and don't let up until you absolutely have to. Hinata nodded and then went down to the center of the arena, with Neji soon doing the same. He scowled at his cousin, "Hinata-san, I would give up if I were you, and I am the protege of the Hyuga clan, and you are far too weak to face me. It would be a shame if the future clan head were to embarrass herself here." Hinata didn't seem in the least bit pressured by her cousin's word. "I love you, Neji-kun. You have always been like a brother to me. However, if you keep trying to insult me and my goal to become the clan head, I will stomp you into the dust. One day I am going to be the clan head, and when I do, the cage bird seal will be nothing but a memory." Neji sneered, "You are pathetic. In this world, we will all in this world, we all have a destiny which cannot be escaped. Your destiny is to step aside for Hanabi, someone who understands her place in the world. My destiny is to serve the Hyuga clan as their personal protege. All you are doing is fighting the inevitable. Fate is unchangeable." Hinata could see her cousin wasn't going to change his mind. Fate is a word cowards use when they are too scared to try and change something. "Please, Proctor, start the match." Hayate was big, but raised his hand. "Neji versus Hinata begins in 3, 2, 1, go." Hinata did just as her sensei told her and went straight into an offensive attack. Neji had started to get into a defensive position, but like Joraiya predicted, Neji didn't view Hinata as much of a threat. He didn't bother to move fast, so Hinata caught him completely off guard. After several hits to areas, chakra points, Neji recovers and started to reflect the hits. Before long, their heads become like birds. Nobody could really tell who was winning. Well, hell, they couldn't even tell who was getting hit. Finally, they started to slow down, and they looked like they had done about the same amount of damage to one another. Neji panted, "You have gotten much stronger, Hinata-san, but you will have to be better than that." Hinata just smiled. "I'm only getting started, Neji-kun. I haven't even begun to show you what I can really do." Neji got back into his fighting position. "Then show me what you have got." He laughed at Hinata, and the whole process started over again. Naruto looked at his sensei. "They are fighting so hard. You could never imagine their family." Anko sneered. "Yeah, it's a different family dynamic, alright. More violent than the typical family anyways." Naruto was a little nervous for his girlfriend, but had complete faith she would win. Neji stand a chance. Hinata-chan's gonna wipe the floor with him. And Uncle kept to watching the fight. If she keep up like that, then she just might. Hinata and Neji were just kept going at it, making sure that neither of them could get even a moment's rest. Seeing that she had to end the fight soon or she would be finished, Neji went for a strike, seeing that he had to end the fight sooner or he would be finished. Neji went for a strike straight to at her chest. Hinata saw the blow coming and arched her back to avoid the hit. Neji had no idea she was that flexible and that move wasn't exactly a part of the gentle style. Well, that's new. He didn't have time to try and figure out where she landed from. All she had time to do was defend himself from Hinata's current counterattack. Hinata went at him with everything she had. Of course, Neji fought back with just as much, if not more, effort. No one could tell who was winning or losing at this point. All they could do was watch in awe. Finally, the pair of Hyugas stopped. Both of them looked ready to fall. Everyone watched breathlessly to see who had won. Then it finally happened. Neji passed out. The entire room erupted in applause. Applause. Hinata had beaten the prodigy of the Hyuga clan. Naruto jumped down and carried her back up to the balcony. Hinata-chan, oh, that was amazing. You kicked his ass. Hinata giggled lightly. Yes, I suppose I did. Jiraiya was clearly happy. Alright, that's one in final for me. Uncle smirked. I see that Ace arch dodge. I thought you came in handy. Arch dodge. I thought you came in handy. That will be useful for other things down the road too. By the way, Hinata was just happy that she had done it. She had beaten Neji. What other thing down the road? God damn it, Uncle, you. God damn you. Hinata was just happy that she had done it. She had beaten Neji. They suddenly heard Rin calling, Neji, get back here. You're limping and crouching, coughing up blood. For God's sake. Neji soon appeared in front of his cousin Hinata. I came to apologize. Hinata couldn't believe it. Neji-kun. Neji gave another small cough. If you can defeat me, then you can definitely defeat Faith itself. Cough. You have my full support in becoming clan head. Hinata was about to respond, but Rin pulled Neji away so that she could take a good look at him. Naruto gave Hinata a small hug. You can talk to him later, sweetie. He needs to rest right now. Hinata didn't like it, but she knew he was right. She could talk to him later. Hayate called out the next two names, Gara and Lee. Please come down to the center of the arena. Lee practically exploded. Yosh! I shall let my flames of youth burn brightly on the battlefield. Guy screamed excitedly for his student Lee. You shall surely be victorious on this day. Kankaro gave his brother a funny look. I think your biggest problem is going to be his freakish voice. Tenten pouted. Hey, Lee's just okay. Hey, Lee's just okay. Tintin pouted. Lee's crazy. He's still a nice guy though. Gara went down to the center of the arena, still holding back a smile from what they could just said about Lee. Lee gave Gara his classic thumbs up and yelled, Gara of the sand, I shall defeat you on this day. Gara raised an eyebrow. We'll see about that. Hayate raised his hand to start the match. Gara versus Lee begins in 3, 2, 1, go! Lee vanished in an instant, leaving everyone wide-eyed. How can one person be that fast? He suddenly reappeared behind Gara, attempting to give him a hard kick in the head. Gara was pretty surprised but not scared, just as he thought it would. His sand formed a wall to protect him before Lee could do anything. Lee was impressed. I see that your defense is as strong as they say. I will be an. It will. This will be an excellent fight. Gara smile simply relieved. Gara simply relieved. You are quite fast, but I am afraid that wouldn't be enough to beat me. Gara sent a wave of sand at Lee, who barely dodged it. Lee jumped back and made another run at Gara, only to be stopped by his sand again. That's when Gara called out, "Take them off, Lee. Show me the power of your youth." Lee looked shocked. But Sensei, you guy, but Sensei, you told me, you said only to do that in emergencies. Guy nodded. Yes, I did, but this is an exception. Take them off. Lee grabbed the wrist had been wearing on his ankles. If you say so, Guy Sensei. Lee threw his wrist off and the entire ground shook on their impact. No one could believe he was just walking around and running with weights that heavy one. Gara didn't even see Lee come at him this time. His stand literally saved him with just inches of his face. Lee could see that he could have to go with his most powerful attack if he had any chance of beating Gara. It was time to go all out. His skin changed color and uh, uh, changed color and screamed out, "First gate, open!" Joraya knew exactly what that was. You taught him to open the gates? Isn't that a little dangerous? Guy had faith in his students. Lee is the greatest student I have ever had. It was only my honor to teach him how to open the gates. Joraya still wasn't sure, but he would let it go for now. Lee made another run at Gara, only this time he actually got a hit. His foot connected with Gara's face and Gara couldn't believe it. Lee had actually gotten a good hit against him. Gara started to limp up the power of his hand to contract of Lee's increased speed. I got a hold of Lee and he opened the next gate. His skin getting a shade darker when he did. The fight continued on like that for 10 minutes. They just kept pouring the strike upon fourth streak back and forth, strike back and forth, the crowd watching on the edge of the balcony. This was one of the greatest fights they had ever seen, and from a couple of Kenyans, no less. It was really a sight to behold. Lee had reached his limit, the fourth gate, and was making one final charge at Gara. Gara knew if he didn't stop this attack, he might not win the fight. He released as much sand as he could and yelled, "Sand tsunami!" Lee hit his head on, and was slammed into the ground. Gara got a hold of his limbs with his sand and screamed at Lee, "Forfeit, or I will have to break your arms and legs. Please, Lee, I don't want to do this." Lee couldn't move at all. His gaze had flattened, and he was pretty much spent at this point. Still, muttered out, "Can't give up, must win." That's when Hayate called the match. "Okay, I'm calling this," a guy yelled out. "But Lee still wishes to fight." Hayate shook his head. "Even you know, Lee Lee would just get himself hurt if he stayed in. It took months for him to heal. It would take him months for him to heal his injuries. Gara is the winner." Lee finally backed out, and Guy picked him up. He told Gara, "Excellent match. Best of luck with the rest of the exams." Gara thanked him and walked back over to his brother and sister. Hayate then called Shikamaru and Kin's match, but Naruto had gone with Hayate to talk to Neji, who Rin had just finished healing. They were still on the balcony, but they weren't paying any attention to the match. Hinata felt so happy to be able to talk to Neji again. He had locked her out for so long, but now it was like old times again. It really made Hinata feel like she could pass these exams. After a couple of minutes, they looked over to see Shikamaru had won his match against Kin. Crazy Kid got her in a shadow position and then banged her head against the wall. Hayate stood in the arena once more time and called the next competitors down. Kakashi and Dosu, please come down to the center of the arena. That's all for part 46 and chapter 46 of A Better Route. If you want to be notified for future parts and other what tips, then the best way is by subscribing. That's all for this video. I have to see you in the next one. Bye bye.